let's now reveal and unveil those who will be enshrined in Springfield in September. One of the great scorers in the history of the game, Carmelo Anthony, more than 28,000 points. That's top 10 in NBA history. Final Four he knows a little something about, too, as a freshman led Syracuse to the national championship in 2003. Carmelo Anthony going into the Hall of Fame. This is not just about getting buckets, though certainly Dwight Howard could. He also stopped people from getting them 3 times. He was the NBA Defensive Player of the Year. All NBA, 1 gold medals. Did a little bit on both ends of the floor, and he was Superman. Could fly and put on a dunk show as well. Dwight Howard is going into the Hall of Fame. Billy Donovan, 2-time national championship coach and the winningest coach in Florida history. For the last decade, he's been a coach in the NBA with both the Thunder and the Bulls. Billy Donovan, who will join us later on, going into the Hall of Fame, joining this group of legends going in, the great Sue Bird, who defined excellence. Sue Bird, the WNBA's all-time leader in wins, in games, assists. She won championships in college. She won championships in the WNBA. And now Sue Bird has her place forever immortalized as a member of this Hall of Fame class. Another UConn legend going in, Maya Moore. She, too, knows all about championships. In 8 seasons with the Lynx, 4 times, cut down the nets. That's the WNBA champion. Maya Moore could do a little bit of everything, won 90 games in a row in college at UConn, both a college and professional legend as she goes into the Hall of Fame. Sylvia Fowles from LSU. And also the WNBA, 2 times she won the championship like Dwight Howard, one of the great defensive players in the history of the sport. She goes into the Hall of Fame with this group, a fitting conclusion to her tremendous career. And now the rest of the 2025 class for this Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, the Redeem Team. U.S. Olympic team from the 2008 Olympics. Mike Krzyzewski coached them. Coach K will join us a little bit later on. Danny Crawford, one of the great officials in the history of the game, goes in as a contributor. So too the owner of the Miami Heat, and Micky Arison, who's owned the Heat since '95 and helped guide the franchise to 3 championships. So that's the class. As you look at it, what's the first reaction to this this tremendous group?
It's amazing how this class touches every aspect of the game. Some of the game's greatest scorers, some of the game's greatest defenders and rebounders, and some of the game's greatest champions, including the 2008 U.S. Olympic team and how that changed USA basketball. Just a tremendous class for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
It'll be one of the compelling conversations that we'll have later on when Coach K joins us to talk about that team. But leading off our guest today, and we'll start on offense because this is an offensive game with a defensive component, and very few people put the ball in the bucket the way the great Carmelo Anthony did. Carmelo Anthony, Syracuse, an NBA legend, going into the Hall of Fame.
With the 3rd pick, the Denver Nuggets select
Carmelo Anthony, right wing 3-ball, got it!
Either give me the jump shot or give me the drive to the lane.
Picked up by Melo, drives, dunks! 62 points for Carmelo Anthony.
He's the first person to play in 4 Olympics, win 3 gold medals on the basketball stage.
You take Melo. Carmelo Anthony, red hot.
He's open on the right side, takes a 3, yes!
If I had to defend me, I would take the night off.
There are a lot of people who felt that way. Top 10 scorer in NBA history, the 4 Olympic medals that you mentioned. He's one of 4 players to score 10,000 points with 2 different NBA franchises, and he scored the 3rd most points in United States Olympic basketball history. And we're pleased to be joined by now Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo, this is a foregone conclusion for a lot of us who watched it. We knew you were going to be a Hall of Famer, but I still am always fascinated by what's the reaction like for someone like you when you hear the word officially.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's steps that you have to take, right? You hear about it, somebody leak it, you hear it online, and then it's like the official call have to come. So when the call comes and you see, in my case, I saw Springfield on the phone, right? So it's like, you know what time it is when Springfield is on the phone. You know what it is. You get the phone call and you hear you're in. And I think for me that, it was just a burden off of my kind of just shoulders and just I can relax and breathe and just, I'm satisfied. This is, all the hard work that I put in for not just the 20 years in the NBA, but, for 32 years that I've been playing this game of basketball. So to be able to be in the moment and understand what this assignment really is about, for me, I'm a fan of the game. I'm a fan of all the guys and the girls that's in the Hall of Fame. And I get to be a fan, just walking around with Dr. J over there. It's like I'm having dinner with the doc, man. Coach K is over there for the men's 2008 USA team. So it's just a lot of, emotions and adrenaline that's going on right now.
When you think back over the 32-year period of your career, what stands out the most to you?
I think just perseverance and really just not giving up and understanding it's a journey and just take it day to day and understand with that journey it's ups and it's downs and it's ups and it's downs. And as long as you're able to stay solid and be true to who you are and come out on the other side of that, then the journey is worth it. And this is right here, it definitely caps the journey.
And I would imagine gratitude is a big part of that. For the people that helped you here, who stands out in that regard? I know there have been so many.
It's a lot of people. It's kind of hard to kind of think about it. But, coaches, people that my friends, close friends that I grew up with, since been together since 8 years old, who inspired me, my mom, my brothers, my kids. Like these are the people, my team that's around me, my business partners. Like these are the people who really kind of keep me going so I can be able to streamline everything and figure it out. And it allowed me to go out there and do my job on a night-to-night basis. Highly
anticipated. But to have this happen on Final Four weekend, which I'm sure brings back some memories for you to do, what's the significance of that?
Alex, this is the first Final Four that I've been to probably since I actually participated in the Final Four. So it's kind of different to see, like, the fan experience and just, again, be on the other side of the Final Four. But it brings back so many memories. I mean, you out there, you understand, being with the team in practice and, all the fans get to come to the practice. You in the team hotels and you watching the games and you watching everything that happened throughout the course of that season because you understand at this moment, this could be the one shining moment. So once you have that understanding, it makes the ride worth it.
It makes sense. I mean, he was kind of busy.
Scoring someplace. You mentioned the ups and the downs. What point in your career did you add a facet to your game that maybe you didn't know you even needed prior to that?
I would say probably year 6, 7. The facet that I added to my game, it wasn't a physical attribute. Like, it was growth. Like, I had to add growth to my game. So I had to add growth to my game as a player and as a person. So the moment that those two come together at the intersect, you understand, okay, this is my assignment. This is what I have to do. This is what I have to bring on a night-to-night basis, on a day-to-day basis to be a professional.
And can't let you get out without talking about your international basketball experience with USA Basketball. When you left USA Basketball, you were the all-time leading scorer for the United States. What was that experience like for you?
Unbelievable. I like to say I've grown up in USA Basketball. I've grown up with USA Basketball. I've been with USA Basketball since 2002 in Venezuela, and in the junior nationals, and to be able to lose with Team USA and then win with Team USA. But that 2008 situation is the reason we're able to see what's happening and enjoy what's happening today, because we really was the ones who actually had to create a culture. And Jerry Colangelo created a culture for us in 2008. And it was a big commitment that we all had to make, and we made it and we committed. And now you can see kind of everything that's been carrying on from that point.
And it wasn't just Olympic years you made that commitment. It was year after year.
I mean, you had the 3-year commitment. When you're in the NBA and you got to commit 3 years to something, that's very difficult to do. There's no off seasons. You sacrificing family. You sacrificing just your own personal time. So it's a major, major decision that you had to make. But it was easy at that point in time. It was like, I knew we lost in 02, 04, 06, and it's like, it took the Redeem team to come back and put us back to goal.
When did you realize that would be as significant to you as it is, as opposed to just something you did because you were a star?
I always understood. I'm a student of the game, so I always understood who came before me. I always knew I stood on the shoulders of the Giants. I always understood my history and the players that came before me to be able to know where do I fit in this history of the game. And once I understood that, I was able to kind of just continue to carve out my own kind of lane within this whole, broad spectrum of NBA basketball.
It's a remarkable thing that you carved out. Carmelo, congratulations. Well-deserving. Going into the Hall of Fame, my friend, Carmelo Anthony.
Thank you.
One of the great Hall of Famers, great visit with him, and we've got so much more coming. Of course, Carmelo, one of the great offensive players of all time, but also the Basketball Hall of Fame is about both ends of the floor. One of the great defensive guys, one of the great rebounders, also a member of the Hall of Fame, Dwight Howard.
With the first pick, the Orlando Magic select Dwight Howard.
Prove all the doubters wrong.
I can show you where the ball. I'm talking about the Hall of Fame.
You win! Superman is here! Howard is the buzzer! The lob for Howard. Oh, man! Howard flying through the air.
Dwight Howard finishing with 40 points.
Oh, blocked by Howard. Howard rockets it out of bounds.
Howard with another block.
Impressive again from Howard. Up top, Howard throws it down.
It's time to go get it. This time it's gonna be right. Focus on one goal, and that's to win the championship. Man, that'll be great.
I was made for this moment. Ain't no backing down.
We got one! We got one!
What a tremendous career, Dwight Howard. 8-time NBA All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, 3 times he was Defensive Player of the Year, led the Magic in points, rebounding, and blocks, most in Magic history, and yet another member of that 2008 Olympic team, the Redeem Team, and won the NBA championship with the Lakers in 2020, and now in Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer Dwight Howard. Dwight, congratulations. Got the championship ring on. You got more rings coming. You got a jacket coming now. Before the show started, and Jay alluded to it earlier, you were up on the edge of the set taking video. What's the significance of this moment for you?
I knew I was going to do it. I was trying not to cry so fast, but I'm just so grateful, man, and just thankful for God and this opportunity. It's such a big honor. And I'm just so happy, man. This is crazy. I made it to heaven.
You definitely take the award for the happiest Hall of Famer. That was so moving to watch you so moved by this. But when you think back on your career, it is remarkable to see defense and rebounding honored like this, and that's where you dominated the game. That's got to make you feel good.
It does, man. I started playing basketball at a very young age. Came into the NBA at 18, and man, defense has just been my thing. Just being the best defender, blocking all the shots, rebounding, making sure I make up for all my teammates' mistakes. Just being there for everyone. So it worked out for myself, and I'm just so thankful, man. It's just so great.
What do you think it is about you personally that allowed you to adopt that mindset, to really understand the tremendous value in being there for teammates, to, as you just said, cover for mistakes, to get rebounders? What is it about your personality that lends itself to that?
Just wanting to win and knowing what I do best. My best is going out in front and being a warrior. Being the defender, being the guy that's going to block the shots, rebound, run the floor, finish in the paint, but have a great time, and put a smile on everyone's faces. And I'm just so overwhelmed with joy. And I know it's hard to talk, but I'm just so grateful, man. So, yeah, thank you.
It's beautiful.
It's awesome.
Yeah. When you got the call, who was the first person you called or you thought of?
I just thought of everybody in my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my kids, just everyone who has been involved with my life from the time I've started playing basketball. My first coach, high school coach, Coach Brooks, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning with former NBA player Dion Glover. We was up at 4 o'clock every morning on the track, in the gym, working out, and I just remember all these moments. They just rushed in my head. I was like, man, this is it. I made it to the real basketball heaven. It's crazy.
And as moving as this moment is, and the moment when you got the call, when it comes September 6th, and the enshrinement comes. What do you envision that entire moment, that day being like?
Celebration of all the dedication, the hard work, the sacrifice that all of this took to be here. I told my dad at 10 that I wanted to go to the NBA and be the first pick in the draft and be one of the greatest players to play and make it into the Hall of Fame. This was 10 years old, and now I'm about to be 40, and it's here. So, man, it's just unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
Such a tremendous day. Dwight, congratulations. Well-deserved. Awesome to see you here. Great to see your excitement for it, too.
Yeah.
Another member of this class, one of the great teams in international basketball history, the 2008 U.S. Olympic men's team went 8-0 in the Olympics, won by nearly 28 points per game. It became tagged as the Redeem Team after the U.S. had won bronze in the 2004 Olympics, 2006 FIBA World Championships as well, but they came out and dominated the 2008 Olympics, defeated Spain 118-107 in the gold medal game with Mike Krzyzewski as the head coach. Jerry Colangelo was the managing director who really put things together and got USA basketball back on track, and we are delighted to be joined by the head coach of the Redeem Team, Mike Krzyzewski. Coach, as you look at this, Jay and I were talking on the way over, and one of the things that he pointed out that I think is accurate in this situation is you guys changed at that point from being a great collection of players to establishing a culture in USA basketball. What was important about that?
Well, Jerry is really the key guy in that. And then the time commitment that the players gave. Like we were together a long time, and we changed how we prepared. We started international scouts. We added more people. We learned the international game instead of saying we can impose our game on them. And then, we had international officials. And we developed a set of standards where all the guys lived by those standards. And they were the best group of guys. I wish like crazy that Kobe was here because he was really the key guy, I think, because as many great players as we had at that point, he was the greatest. And everyone looked up to him, and he certainly set a great example.
And USA Basketball didn't call itself the Redeem Team. The media named it that, but it was a reset of the way USA Basketball approached international. And you developed a program. What was the most important part in developing a program for a new approach?
Well, the commitment from the NBA was huge. They not only, obviously, they're all NBA players, but I credit NBA leadership. They gave us an infrastructure. I mean, when we were practicing in Vegas, it was like a war zone, where you had people helping you in every way, and so all these guys were committed, and the people around them were committed, and they all got along. These guys were, people ask me, boy, that must have been hard to coach them. I said, man, that was great to coach them. And they wanted to be a part of something bigger than them. And so they put their individual egos on the side and put them under one ego umbrella called USA. And they were beautiful. They were beautiful to watch. And most of the guys would tell you that Spain game for the gold medal was probably one of the great games all those guys participated. I know it's the toughest game I've ever coached in.
This may seem like a small thing to some people, but you used video a lot with that
Right.
group, that original Olympic team in 2008. And one of the things you did was Marvin Gaye's rendition at the All-Star game of the national anthem. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, we used we made videos for every game, and because music you can feel it. But one day at practice, they had a commercial. Nike had a commercial, and where Marvin Gaye was singing. So I brought the team over to the side, and we had, a TV set up. I said, "I'm going to show you something. This is going to be our fight song." And I get chills thinking of it. And all of a sudden, that Marvin Gaye comes on. But we also had these guys like walking through, like playing. So they were part of the national anthem. And, we tried to do a whole bunch of things to, not that they needed motivation, but for them to feel what it was like to represent their country. We used a lot with the military. because no one has greater selfless service than our military. They not only wanted to win the gold, they wanted to win the trust of our country and the trust of the world, the respect of the world, because we kind of lost that. And they did.
I've known you for a long time, and you've always been incredibly proud of wearing Army on your chest and Duke. But I'm not sure you're ever prouder of when you wear USA basketball.
No, it's the ultimate moment for a coach to coach the U.S. team and to have won the gold medal that year, and we won 2 more. Those were the greatest moments to see Dwight, Carmelo, and these guys standing on the podium with gold medals around their necks and the national anthem being played. Man, come on. You can't. And all those guys would say that's got to be one of the great moments of their life. It was a great moment for me to watch that.
It was a great moment for all basketball fans, especially fans in the United States. Coach, congratulations. 2008 Redeem Team going into the Hall of Fame. And the head coach of that group, Mike Krzyzewski. Always great to see you. Congratulations. 167 wins and guiding Florida, elevating them to not just a football school, but a basketball powerhouse. Won 400 games as a head coach of the Thunder and the Bulls. And, of course, also went to the Final Four as a guard at Providence under Rick Pitino. And happy to be joined by Billy Donovan here. Hey, congratulations, my friend. This is quite an honor. Yeah. How did you find out? What was it like for you when you got the call?
I was listening to Carmelo speak. Very similar. I was at a shoot-around, and they said that they were going to call between 11 and 2. So, I had my phone with me. We finished shoot-around, and I was getting ready to do an interview with our radio guy. And I looked down, it says Hall of Fame. I'm like, okay, this is either going to go one or two ways. And I kind of walked off the court, got behind the bleachers, and they gave me the news. And obviously I was thrilled and humbled and incredibly grateful.
But speaking of that gratitude, who did you think of first or call first after that?
Well, certainly my wife, with all the sacrifices that she's made, being in coaching, that was the first person I called. And then, certainly thought a lot about my parents, the sacrifices they've made. And then, Coach Pitino giving me the opportunity to coach. There's just so many different people. I think from a coaching perspective, when you're sitting up here, you're really only as good as the people that are around you. And I've been really, really blessed to be around great people, players, coaches, assistant coaches, and really fortunate. But, a lot goes through your mind in that moment.
You've been in the game such a long time. You're still in it with the Chicago Bulls. When you look back over the course of your career, does the first thing that comes to mind your experience as a player, or is it as a coach?
Well, I think you always start off playing, so you kind of think about that. But it's been so long since we've played, Jay, right? You go there, but you get in this because you love the game of basketball. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to an end playing, there's a feeling like, okay, what can I do to actually give back and contribute to the game? Because it's been good to me, and there's been a lot of people that have given back and that have been good to me, and that's what I've always tried to do.
From a coaching standpoint, coaches give back. They talk about the team, but this is an individual moment for you. How do you reconcile that part of this honor?
Yeah, I mean, I feel, incredibly blessed and really fortunate, but I do hold on to the fact that, Carmelo is being inducted, right? I had a chance to work with Carmelo for a year in Oklahoma City. Just an incredible guy, an unbelievable player. Looking at, Dwight Howard, I recruited Dwight Howard, So as you kind of look through this stuff, I've been fortunate that I learned from a unbelievable coach in Coach Pitino, maybe the best there is out there, and he gave me an opportunity, and I think about the assistant coaches that work with me, players that made a decision to come play at Florida when maybe at that point in time it wasn't a great deal. Like you think about Mike Miller and Udonis Haslem earlier on. There was no reason they needed to come there. Those guys, in a lot of ways, changed the trajectory of the program and changed my life. And then I think about Joakim Noah and Al Horford and Corey Brewer and Torian Green and Lee Humphrey. Like, without those guys, I'm not sitting up here. So, yes, it is an individual honor, but there's a lot of people that helped me get to this point that I'm grateful to.
What about the significance of you getting this honor and now team that you led to 2 national championships, or a program you led to 2 titles back here in San Antonio. What's the significance of that to you?
Well, it's kind of fate here, you know, just to be able to come back here and see Florida back in the Final Four. You know, unbelievable years here. I'm excited for Todd and his team, and unfortunately, with the number of games we have in the NBA, we don't get a chance to watch college games all the time, but certainly follow them very closely, and I'm just happy that they, you know, got an opportunity to advance.
Can I tell you this, if you haven't watched Florida much, they've got a guard you'll really like.
Well, I know about him. Well, the reason I know about him is Coach Pitino had him at Iona, and actually being back on campus a few times the last summer, I had a chance to spend a little bit of time with him, and we talked about that. But he, I know, is a great player, and had a chance to see some of their games. You know, just don't get a chance to sit down and watch an entire game.
The last time Rick was on with us, he said, how about Walter Clayton Jr.? And I shot back, well, he's finally been unleashed at Florida.
He was holding him back, right?
No, we asked him how he lost him. He said, look, I tried to give him $1,100 to stay at Iona. Didn't quite work out.
Yes.
Billy, congratulations,
Thank
my
you.
friend. Well-deserved.
Appreciate it.
We continue unveiling the Hall of Fame class. As we told you earlier, Sue Bird going into the Hall of Fame, the WNBA's all-time leader in assists in games. She's won everywhere she played. Couple of championships at UConn, 4 with the Storm, 5 Olympic gold medals. Another Husky into the Hall, Maya Moore, helped lead UConn to 2 undefeated championship seasons. She, too, won 4 WNBA titles, was named All-WNBA 7 times across 8 seasons with the Lynx. And joining Moore in Springfield, her teammate Sylvia Fowles, one of 5 WNBA players in history to take on multiple finals MVPs, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year out of LSU, is going into the Hall of Fame. So if you put all of this together, it's what the accolades look like. Collectively, 4 NCAA titles. In the WNBA, 10 championships, and on the Olympic stage, 11 gold medals in total. Here's Kelsey Riggs-Cuff with more from today's inductees.
Rece, thanks so much. As you can tell from the crowd, they are excited because I'm sitting here with 3 legends and now officially 3 Hall of Famers. Sue, Sylvia, Maya, congratulations to you all. I know it is just quite the special occasion to actually say that this is official. Between the 3 of you, so many accolades, so many experiences, so many championships. Maya, what does it mean to have these 3 words, Hall of Famer, attached now to your name?
It's really kind of more than my mind can grasp. I think just going through our careers, just trying to be the best teammates we can, enjoy the game, enjoy each other. And then you look up and you're like, oh, it's time to go into the Hall. And it's just such a humbling thing because it really makes you feel the bigness of the family of basketball.
Sylvia?
It definitely ties in the moment. I don't think neither one of us go into this thinking that we're going to be Hall of Famers. You just do your job and you go out there and you have fun and you enjoy the company. And then when it's all said and done, if that job is complete, and here we are.
Sue, what's the feeling like?
Surreal. I think there's no way to really wrap your head around it. But my first couple of thoughts were like, wow, how lucky am I that I got to experience all these things, the people I got to do it with, all the support. You kind of start to relive it. But then, honestly, I went straight to who I was going in with. Because I think when you have moments like this, you want to do it with people that you not only respect, admire, but we actually played together.
Right.
So that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Super special to have the 3 of you guys and that experience that you've had together. Sylvia, you mentioned this isn't something that you set out to do. You don't say, I want to be a Hall of Famer, but here you guys sit now as Hall of Famers. For the fans and the little girls behind you that are such fans of you guys, if they say how do you get to this moment in your career? What's the how?
It's the dedication to it, the sacrifices that you have to make. I know for me growing up, this is something that I really didn't want to start out doing because I felt like it took away from time from my friends. But understanding the mission, it's a dedication, and once you get into it, everything pretty much pans out.
You guys mentioned playing together. Sue, for you, when you think back to moments that led to this, what are some of the moments from your career that really stand out?
Listen, we can talk about championships. We've been sitting here with the 3 of us for a long time. It has nothing to do with the play on the court. It's bus rides at the Olympics. Remember London? We were like an hour away.
Come on.
So we were on the bus longer than we were in the gym. So it's those little moments, the locker room moments, like I said, the bus moments. Those are the ones that when we all get together and kind of relive it, that's what we're talking about. And then, of course, we did some good things on the court, too.
Yeah, quite a few good things. Maya, I would imagine, like, when you think back to those moments, especially as you all have stepped away and still stayed involved in the game, that's got to be what really just drives you and continues to have you passionate about this game and growing it moving forward.
My experience was so unique in that I was pretty much my whole career the baby of the group. You know, I came in like with Sue and Tamika and Kara Lawson and Diana and Swin and Asia Jones, right? And them showing me how to get miles for the airlines. We were flying everywhere, me flying first class for the first time and taking pictures of my seat and like just being in awe, right? I was the baby.
Look at this food I got.
Right. And so I want that experience for the next generation. You know, they have unique challenges in this day and age and how they grow into becoming who they want to become through this game and not let the game totally take over. And I think that's why we are grateful right now because, again, the championships were there, but it was the relationships that makes this all so sweet. And we want the next generation to remember that as they're being molded and formed in this game.
Sylvia, how about for you? When you think about the relationships and the moments that led to this, what comes to mind?
Just the things that we have in common. Basketball is what brought us together, but when you gain that sisterhood outside of the court and keeping in contact, texting Super, happy birthday, asking my how the family's doing, I think those things is most important to me.
How about as women sitting here going into the Hall of Fame? That's something incredibly special as well. Sue, can you tell me, just being one of the women that continues to pioneer this sport and this game that means so much to you, how does that feel?
I mean, it feels amazing. Obviously, all of us, we had impact in that there's little girls that are going to try to be like us. But I actually remember going to the Hall of Fame as a young person, being in Springfield. I'm from New York. It's not that far.
Right.
And you see all the pictures on the wall, and I'm seeing Donovan, and you're seeing the women that came before you. I remember watching Dawn Staley's speech. She had an incredible speech at the Hall of Fame. And I remember seeing those. And so in the same moment that I'm thinking about the next generation, inspiring them, I'm thinking about those that came before and inspired me.
Maya, how about for you?
Oh, it's incredible to see the game grow. I feel like the fullness of basketball is now being more represented, right? You have men and women at the table to see more of the fullness of humanity, the fullness of the game, the fullness of the beauty that can be seen. And so that's why it's very important for organizations like the Hall of Fame to accurately represent reality of basketball, which is there are brilliant women involved behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, to make this game beautiful. And so that's why it's important for us to be a part of this, because everyone gets the benefit.
You guys are such a huge part of it, and I can't wait to see where the game continues to go and grow. And real quick before I let you go, I know we're just getting the news, it's just soaking in, but I automatically think of Enshrinement Weekend as you guys are sitting here talking about playing together and all the moments. Is it going to be a pretty fun weekend, Sylvia?
It's going to be a great weekend. We got two teams competing against each other, a lot of rivalries going on around here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Danny Crawford's career as an NBA official spanned more than 3 decades, more than 2,000 regular season games, 30 contests in the NBA Finals, worked the Finals 23 straight years before his retirement after the 2017 playoffs. And now Danny Crawford is a member of this Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class. Danny, congratulations. Let me start with this. They say an official's goal ultimately is to be invisible, yet there's nothing more visible than going into the Hall of Fame. What's the significance of that to you?
Well, it's kind of humbling. I tend to shy away from attention, but needless to say, you get into the Naismith Hall of Fame, you're going to get some attention. So I'm just in seventh heaven. It's unbelievable. Never, ever was it a goal to become, in the Hall of Fame, but here I am.
And it wasn't necessarily your goal early on to become an official. You were in the record industry and distribution. How did officiating come from being selling vinyl records?
Well, you know what? I actually had 2 jobs. The refereeing job was like a little side job until my boss found out about it, and then it became a full-time job because he fired me.
Any similarities between the 2 jobs?
None whatsoever.
What's the most memorable thing when you look back over your career? What is most significant to you?
Well, I've looked at some of my games. Actually, I just looked at Game 7 of the Cleveland Golden State game. And what sticks out to me is how you work with 2 unbelievable partners and how our goal was actually to stay out of the way of the game. Let the players play, and as long as they're doing what they should be doing, you just run up and down the court with him. And for me, that was always my goal, is to stay out of the way and only get involved when needed.
Well, and you can say this now. Who gave you the most lip?
Oh, I don't want to say that.
Well, along those lines, some might remember.
Played for Detroit.
Some might remember. I'm told Carlos Boozer sends along a fist bump. This one, that'll be better.
It just shows how fast I was.
That's right. Danny, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The great Danny Crawford, a member of this Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class after an exemplary career as an official. And boy, how did it work out well for Danny after the record industry thing didn't work out? Now he's in the Hall of Fame. One of the great owners in the history of the NBA is Micky Arison. When he purchased the Heat in 1995, they never even won a playoff series. Brought Pat Riley on board. 3 decades since, they've won 3 titles, 7 Eastern Conference championships, and some of the best players in the NBA have come to play for the Miami Heat. Successful, extraordinarily successful businessman, extraordinarily successful owner. Micky Arison is now a member of this Hall of Fame class as a contributor. Congratulations, Micky. What's the significance of this for you?
It's an honor for our franchise. It's an honor for the Miami Heat. I look at it, I know it's an individual award, but, you know, this is all about everybody who's worked for the Heat, everybody who's played for the Heat, and what they've accomplished over the last 30 years.
What is the biggest development in your time in the league to move the league forward? You were chair of the Board of Governors. What do you think is the biggest development you've seen in your time in the league?
Well, I think the league has done an incredible job of kind of adjusting for fans, and you know, the rules have changed. Unlike some sports where they get very rigid, the league has been very, very good at being flexible, making the changes necessary to enhance the game from year to year. I think obviously David Stern and Adam Silver both have done. David did an incredible job. Adam continues to do, and they have a great team of people that are always adjusting and always listening to the fans.
Micky, congratulations on this. Well-deserved. What a remarkable job you've done with the Heat franchise. Micky Arison, a member of this Hall of Fame class. Congratulations.